Dealz. It's the local version of Poundland, except most things cost £1.20. Now, if you frequent Strand Street, then you may have noticed that the local branch of Dealz has recently had a bit of a refit. And as part of that, they have added a range of groceries, including frozen and chilled foods. It's not quite the full range that you would find in a dedicated supermarket, but it certainly looks like it's big enough to do your basic weekly shopping. And that, of course, brings up the question, should you? Or in other words, is Dealz now the cheapest supermarket on the Isle of Man? To answer that question, I once again went out and conducted a little completely unscientific experiment by comparing the prices of a sample basket of goods from Dealz with the equivalent basket of the supermarket that last time we did this, link here and below, I perceived to be the cheapest place to buy your groceries, and that is Tesco. Now, I deliberately say I perceive Tesco to be the cheapest. I'm not saying they are, because I don't want to get sued. Also, disclaimer before we dive into this again, this is again a completely unscientific experiment. I went in, I noted down the prices on the shelf, no guarantees everything is correct, it's all for information only, it's my opinion and perception, please don't sue me. With that out of the way, so I did this pretty much the same way we did it last time. There's a Google sheet in the description, and I compared the prices of a sample basket. Now the range at Dealz is quite limited. So I had to work with what was there. I tried to create a decent sample basket of like a weekly shop that you may do there. And it includes all sorts of things, from frozen fish fingers to washing up liquid to tuna salad, shampoo, all sorts of things. So you can see that in the sheet. So I noted all the prices of this in Dealz, and then I went over to Tesco and checked what the identical items, or as close to identical, were at Tesco. And then I compared the two baskets, and then we have the answer of which one's cheaper. And the answer to that question is, it depends. Now, if you look at the cold hard numbers, and there's three different ways, three different prices I noted down for this. One was the prices as they were displayed in Dealz on the shelf. And then in Tesco, I noted two sets of prices. One with club card discounts applied, and one without. Because club card discounts are sometimes temporary, I wanted to get the proper fixed price. Now, if you compare in the sheets, and also here, the prices for the sample basket of goods at Dealz with the non-club card prices at Tesco, you will find that they are almost identical. If with the club card prices applied, then Tesco is cheaper. Perceived to be cheaper, I'm not saying they are, don't sue me. But without it, they are almost identical, which is kind of freaky if you think about it. You know, you have these two different stores, and for the same things in your basket, as close as I can get them to be the same, you're paying almost the same. So it's kind of a good sign, I guess. But it also shows you that it really depends on what you buy, which one is cheaper, because there are differences in the items. So not every item is the same price. There are quite big differences in some of the items. For example, what I found is Dealz has this model that, because they charge £1.20 for so many items, we perceive £1.20 to be cheap when we go there. And that's, the business model. And they do have a lot of things that are cheap for £1.20 and good value for £1.20. But this then lures us into thinking that everything we see that's priced at £1.20 must be cheap, which is not always the case. So two examples for this are washing up liquid and shower gel. Now, these two bottles, they are available at Dealz for £1.20 each, and that looks pretty cheap. £1.20 for some shower gel, 250ml. Hey, that's good value. And then you go to Tesco and you find out you get even better value there, because it's £1.99. So again, £1.20 looks cheap, but it may not always be cheap. So I think the lesson from this one is they are very similarly priced, but you should always check what you're buying, and you should always do your sums in a way. And with that, of course, I mean you should also check what the price is per kilo or per liter, because that's really how you determine the value of your shopping. And we did that in the last video where I highlighted this, and especially with fruit and veg, it's worth always looking at the per kilo price. And I did the same here. And Tesco did, to me, seem to be cheaper if you calculate it per kilo than Dealz. Dealz does what a number of the other supermarkets did last time. They don't necessarily sell fruit and veg per kilo, they sell it packaged. So for example, bananas, you get a 5-pack, it doesn't have a weight on it. And that means, it may look cheap, but in fact, it would be way cheaper if you go to Tesco, or to me, it looked way cheaper if you go to Tesco and bought your bananas there, because they give you a per kilo price, and that per kilo price is way lower than the price of the pack that I bought. So it really comes down to doing the sums and being a bit smart and looking at the kilo price, and not be fooled or startled by the relatively low price that you see displayed on the shelf. But by and large, I think it's fair to say that Dealz offers pretty good value for money when it comes to grocery shopping, and that it's certainly a place, where you could pop in and do some of your basic weekly shopping if you want to save some time and not do the trek down to Lake Road after work. So it's certainly a good option. Of course, they also have them downstairs where you get like cheap clothing and cheap household stuff. And yeah, you can probably save, quite a bit of money when you shop there. Again, I'm not saying that they are the cheapest or that anyone else is the cheapest or that they're more expensive. You know how it goes. But to wrap this up, there's one item that I want to highlight as an example of why you should always look at the per kilo price to determine if something is really value for money. And that item is the good old pepperami. This one's £2.50 in Dealz, and it's 5 of them. So 5 times 22.5 grams is 112.5 grams. £2.50 for that looks like reasonable value for money, right? It's not too expensive. You got some nice little snack sausages until you calculate the price per kilo. And 5 of them for 100 is 112.5 grams. So if we add that up and make it a kilo, then you will find that for a kilo of snack salami, you're paying over £22. And that to me looks a bit expensive. So again, always check what the price is for a kilo or for a liter if you really want to determine if something is value for money. But on the face of it, from this very unscientific experiment, and you can, of course, check the Google sheet, and this time, yes, I have included totals, you can see that the two are very similarly priced, although there are differences in individual items. You're unlikely to spend more or less on either of them for your basic weekly shop. It's convenient, it's there, it's another option, so that's a good thing. And that's pretty much it for this video. So I hope it was a little bit useful for you, and let me know what you think in the comments. And also, if you have ideas or suggestions for other videos or things I should look into when it comes to cost of living and saving money, please let me know. I am already working on a couple more, and one of them will be for car insurance and motoring in general, because someone suggested it. And I think that's a great topic. But if you have any other suggestions, comments, ideas, stick them in the comment box. And that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.